Hello, welcome back. So we're going to move on to building our next brick. Our next brick is going to be a 2 by 2 brick. So I need to create a new part studio. I'm going to do that by clicking on the Insert New Tab plus sign, and I'm going to choose Create Part Studio. You'll see it's added my new part studio down here. I'm going to right click with my mouse button where it says Part Studio 1. I'm going to choose Rename, and I'm going to call it 2 by 2 Lego bricks, and do that now. As we did before, I'm not going to worry too much about the front plane or the right plane. I'm just going to focus on using the top plane for now. I'm going to click on top there so my orientation is looking straight down. I'm going to go to my sketch tool. So I want to get my circles and my rectangles in place. What plane am I going to sketch on? I'm going to choose top. So I'll click on top. I'm going to go to my square or drop down center point rectangle. I'm going to snap it to the origin, and I'm going to take it up and out. I'm going to use my dimensions tool at the top here, so left click, and I'm going to hover over the top line there, wait for it to go orange, click, drag it off the sketch, and that's going to be 13.6. Defaults to millimeters, because we set that up as our default dimension at the start. I'm going to choose the right line here, it goes orange, just click and drag my mouse off the screen, 13.6, and press tab. Right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to green tick it. I just want to take myself to the isometric view. I've got a 2D sketch, I want to make it 3D. I'm going to go into my extrude. I went to my instructions, I want to keep it solid, new. What am I trying to extrude, sir? Well, I'm going to extrude the sketch that I've just sketched. So sketch 1, left click there. It takes it into a 3D shape. It's too tall. So we need to drop that down to 9.6 millimeters. Type in 9.6 where it says depth, press tab. That looks good to me. So I'm going to green tick that. Next, I need to sketch the circles, the 4 circles on the top face. So I'm going to click top there, so it orientates it around the way I want to see it. And I'm going to use the roll ball on the mouse just to zoom in a little bit. Now, if you actually push down on the roller ball and hold it down and move your mouse, it moves your design around on the page, so you can adjust it how you want it. Right, so we need 4 circles. I don't need to use, I'm not going to use the origin, so I'm just going to hide it for the time being. Keep it out of the way so it doesn't confuse me. So look at my toolbar, I've got no sketching tools, I've got no circles or squares, so I need to click sketch. They're greyed out because Onshape is asking me, where are you going to sketch these circles, sir? Well, I'm going to sketch them on the face, on the top of my square. It's always worth just checking over here to make sure you're sketching where you want to be sketching. It is easy to get lost sometimes, and sometimes all of a sudden you don't realise it, but you're sketching on the bottom. So you can see that that's back to front because I've rotated it 180 degrees, and I'm actually looking at the bottom. So always try and make sure you know where you are and what you're sketching on. So I've chosen that face that I want to sketch on, and you can see my sketching toolbar has now come alive, and I want my center point circles. I want 4 of them now. I'm going to be quite smart about this, and I'm going to try and fix them together as best I can. When we say fix it together, we call it in Onshape, we call it constrain. So we need to think about our orange line. So I'm going to draw my first center point circle, and I'm going to click. I'm going to hover over the center of that circle, and I'm going to drag my mouse across, staying horizontal, and I'm going to left click that one there. So when I now, if I wanted to try and move these around, remember I'm still in sketch mode, so if I click anywhere, it's going to want to draw a circle. So let's have a look. I want to come down here because I want this circle in the bottom left corner to the center of it to line up with the circle in the top left corner. So I'm not too worried about size at the moment. And again, this is where I can use Onshape. Onshape is quite smart in the fact that it will try and help you to line things up. So I'm going to drag the mouse over here so I get my dotted constraint line. I'm not going to click there. I'm actually going to move my mouse up without clicking to the center there. Now as I bring it down, Onshape is going to, in a second, say, "Oh, sir, you want to line both of those up." I do. Left click, sketch my circle. Right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to green tick it. So there are my 4 sketches. I need to dimension them. So I want to edit that sketch because I did green tick it, but I still need to change the dimensions. So I'm going to double click on it, which means I go back into the sketch, and I'm going to use, because they're blue circles, if I left click on that top left, the center of that top left circle and move them, they are movable, but we don't want to move them around. We want to set them up and dimension them correctly. So I'm going to use my dimensions tool. Like we did before, I want to say the left hand side of my circle, hover over the left line of my square. I want that to be 1mm, tab off. I want the top of my circle and the top of my square. I want that to be 1mm. And I want to dimension the circle itself. I probably should have done this first. I want that to be 4.8. There we go. So let's dimension the other circles. Well, we've got that number in our head, 3.8. That one's going to be 4.8. And that one's going to be, the diameter of that one's going to be 4.8. So I've set all the diameters of my circles. I'm happy with that. I'm going to stay in the dimensions tool and I'm going to constrain it. So I'm going to say the right hand side of this square and the right hand side of this circle and the right hand side of this square need to be 1mm distance. It goes black, so it's locked in, it's constrained into place. I'm going to say the bottom of this circle and the bottom line there, that has to be 1mm. And the final one don't have to do because we've already told this circle that it needs to be lined up with the center of that circle, and we've told it needs to be lined up with the center of that circle. And these 3 are currently fixed in place, so that one will fix in when we want it. Green tick.